So hi, I'm Ben from Cyclepath, and today we're going to be going over how to change a flat tire and just some tricks and tips to help you out. So first off, we need some tools. So our most important tool that we have is our tire levers. They're going to make it really easy for us to get that tire off of the wheel, and they're a huge help. Second thing we're going to need is a new tube. So if you're out on a ride, make sure you pack an extra tube, and we're also going to need a pump to pump that new tube back up once it's in the tire. Our first step is taking the wheel off. If you have a quick release, you're going to just be able to use your hand, pop the wheel right off. If you have a through axle, you'll probably need a 5mm or 6mm Allen key, but that can change depending on the bike. I find a trick that makes it much easier is to shift the bike into its hardest gear, so that one at the very bottom of the cassette just gives you a little bit more room with the chain to really make it easier to pull that wheel off and get the cassette around the derailleur. So once our wheel is off, we are going to make sure all the air is let out. So if you have a puncture already, a lot of the air will probably be out already, but if we can take any more out, then that's going to be hugely beneficial to us. So now we're going to use our tire levers to pop this tire off. What we're going to first want to do is go around the whole outside of the tire and just push the sides into the middle of the rim. This is going to give us as much slack as possible and really make it easy for us to get those tire levers underneath and pop the tire right off. If you have a Presta valve, which is the skinny valve, you're going to need to first unscrew the little nut that sits on there. This is keeping our valve in place, but it's going to be hard to get our whole tube off if we still have that on. So we're going to want to remove that. So after our tube is out, we're going to want to inflate it. This is going to help us find where the puncture happened, and it can really help us make sure that these don't happen again. Another thing we can do is go around the whole inside of the tire with a rag. So by doing this, we can also eliminate any of those littler things that we might not be able to see just with our eye. This step is very, very important, because without this, we can have the exact same problem as soon as we pump that new tube back up. So we really want to make sure that there's nothing inside of our tire that could impact our brand new tube. So now we have our old tube out and we've made sure our tire is clean and free of debris. We are going to be putting that new tube in. So one thing I always do is just add a little bit of air to that tube. This is just to make it easier, make sure we don't pinch that tube when we actually pull the tire back onto the bead. And this is also going to help us just give us a little more room to work with. So now we have our new tube in, it's time to do our final step, which is get the tire back on and pump it up. So this can be a little tricky. Every tire is different, but some will be trickier than others. If you're struggling with it, don't worry about it, you will get it eventually. It just takes a little bit of time. So now we have our tube in and our tire back on, it's time to pump it up. So tire pressures are a huge topic. There is so much to think about, there's a lot that you can do. So every tire will have a maximum rating for the PSI that you can put in there. We're really going to want to make sure we stay under that, because if we go over that, there is a potential that it could damage our rim and destroy our tire. So with that in mind, we're going to really just pump it up to whatever pressure you want. Every person is going to want a different pressure. Every type of riding has a different recommended pressure. So there's really a wide variety on that, but just pump it up. Maybe go off of what your front tire is or what feels comfortable to you. Now that the bead is nice and seated around the whole outside, you can see it's even all the way around on this side, as well on this side. We are going to go ahead and put the wheel back on. It's pretty similar to taking it off. We're going to want to put that wheel back in, make sure our disc rotor is lined up with the caliper, or if you have a V-brake, make sure that V-brake is still released, and we're just going to put that wheel right back in. Make sure that when we do put the wheel back on, we tighten that quick release up enough so that our wheel isn't loose, and we also tighten up our through axle if that's what we have. We're going to want to also check this at the end after we have the bike on the ground. Just give it a quick wiggle and just see if that is tight enough. If not, tighten it right back up. So that's it for this video. Hopefully it helped you guys out with changing your tubes. If you still have questions or concerns, you can always come into Cyclepath or give us a call.